Uttaretatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet Atmaiva yatmano bandhu Atmaiva ripuratmanah Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana Ma karma phalaheturvhu Ma te sangostva karmani Yat karoshi yadashnasi Yat juhoshi dadasi yat Yat tapasyasi kaunteya Tat kurushva madarpanam Ananyas chintayanto mam Ye janar paryupasate Tesham nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam vahamyaham Sarvadharman parityajya Mamekam sharanam vraja Aham tva sarva papebhyah Moksha ishyami ma sujaha. Hari. So we've seen these 5 verses of the Gita that give us an anchor to help us guide our thinking. And so we'll just do the word meaning first of this 5th verse. Sarva dharman parityajya. So sarva, all, dharma. Dharma has many meanings, and so we'll come back to that. Parityajya, renounce, give up, let go of. Mam ekam, me alone. Ekam is this one. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Sharanam is surrender. Like we use the word sharanam even in Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama. So refuge is the translation, but the idea is surrender. So surrender to just me. And you know, it's here in a way, if you Krishna is a little bit being cheeky because like in chapter 3 and in chapter 5 and in one other place in the Gita, Arjuna says, tell me one thing to do. Don't tell me so many things to do. It's very confusing. So yeah, he's like, one thing, Mam ekam sharanam praja. Like you don't have to do anything else. Just this one thing you have to do. And it's actually perfect. This one, to have just one thing is makes life easy, right? Otherwise we have to think so much. Like, what should I do? And actually, in the Gita, there is different scenarios like dharma, the line before that, sarva dharma. Very difficult to figure out what dharma is in any particular situation. The whole Mahabharata, we saw there's so many ways in which dharma can be understood and interpreted. And then I'm thinking now, what exactly should I be doing? Or should I be more bhakti? Should I be more karma? Should I be more jnana? Sharanam. just just surrender. And in that surrender, of course, it's bhakti, but of course, we're still going to do. Like surrender doesn't mean we stop acting. So karma will still take place because in the momentum, when we surrender, that clarity comes, and so jnana also takes place. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Surrender to only me. It really does. Somebody's making big eyes, so I'll just explain this. When we surrender, now the mind gets very quiet. And once the mind is quiet, memory resurfaces, right? So like we've studied, we've heard in satsang, we've understood things. And then when there's avalanche of emotion, it's like water with dirt in it and you stir it. And then that dirt is everywhere and it clouds judgment. But when we surrender and it allows that mind to settle, and then the water is clear again. And then it's like, oh yeah, in the Gita, Krishna had already explained what it is I should do. Or sometimes even when we upset with a particular person, and then the mind settles, and we ourselves remember, we had this conversation. And in that conversation, she or he explained why they do this particular behavior. And so it's like, I reacted without remembering and understanding that explanation. So, surrender. Seems like it's only bhakti, but it allows us actually to do better with even jnana. And then, of course, our actions will be more detached. So even karma yoga happens. And so, in a way, we already saw karma yoga and karma niyavadikaras there. We already saw this sense of surrender in yat karoshi, yat ashnasi. And so here it's all being beautifully reinforced. But also, it's not like it's just repetition. There's more nuances. Aham tva sarva papebhya. So this first line was what we have to do. What do we have to do? Renounce all dharma and seek refuge in Bhagwan and Bhagwan alone. So renounce, surrender, if we want to be very precise. And then what the next line is what Bhagwan will do. Well, almost the whole of the next line is what Bhagwan will do. Aham tva. For you, I, Bhagwan is saying I, for you, sarva papebhya, will remove all your sin. And this is quite a promise. It's something like when somebody is in debt and they have like so many bills and somebody comes along and says, I'll take care of all of it. And you're like, oh, really? Phew. Why? Because papa are the actions that I have to face. So recap. The first law of karma yoga, quickly. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Second law of karma yoga, quickly. Why are you all making face like I never told you all? What betrayal is this? I've told you all so many times. That's the rule of cause and effect. The second law of karma yoga is only the doer of the action will get the reaction. Now, please make things, because we've definitely covered this. So whoever does the action, they alone will get the reaction. Now, think about how many actions you've done in your life. And how many of those would be papa causing actions? We don't know. But let's say we amazingly pure people. Then 1/4 of the actions we did could potentially be bringing us some kind of negative result. It's like that kid who was told not to do something and then goes ahead and does it, and in the process breaks the table, the jar, the toy, the phone. You were told not to do it. And now it's broken, so proof that you touched everything. And now you're waiting for the parent to come home. That's the feeling of waiting for the consequences of our path to come. And so when Bhagwan says, sarva papebhyo, it's like, phew, this is like immense relief. And that even though we don't know what the consequences are going to be, there's definitely some negative ones out there. Sure. And so there's this, it's like slate clean. But also remember, it's the papa that cause us to stay in the cycle of birth and death. And punya, whichever actions, both punya and papa. Because action is done, and then the second law of karma was only the doer of the action will get the result of the action. So who did the action? Me. So who does the result have to come back to? Me. And if I didn't get the result yet, I have to come back to get that result. And so karma binds me because I have to be around. Yeah. Like something like you fix an appointment of a delivery of some furniture or something, and then that morning your friends call and say, let's go do this, let's go do this. And you're like, yeah. Oh, no, wait, I can't. That delivery is coming now. And then they come late. So then your whole day goes waiting for them to come, and then they come late and you couldn't do anything else. And it keeps you bound. And we don't know when that karma is going to come, the consequence is going to come. And so potentially next life. And we tend to think next life, but actually a lot of consequences come this life. A lot of consequences come that day only. Don't even have to wait next year. A lot of times the consequence comes very quickly. But then some much later. So, aham tva sarva papebhya. If I do my bit, what was my bit? Renounce and surrender, then Bhagwan will do his bit and remove all sins. And not only remove all sins, because when all sins are removed, then moksha, ishami. I will give you moksha. And for someone who is very sincerely walking the path, to be promised, I will give you moksha. This is what, like, sometimes when we think lifetime after lifetime after lifetime of karma, will I ever reach? And then this reassurance is being given here by Krishna. I will give you moksha. So there's a reaching because he is giving his word and definitely will keep it. And then Masuchaha. Now Masuchaha gets interpreted differently by different people reflecting on the Gita. So one point of view, and Pujya Gurudev has also done this in his commentary, he says that Masuchaha is something we have to do. So it goes under, we have to renounce all dharma, we have to surrender to Bhagwan, and we have to stop worrying. Then he will give pure slate, pure, clean our slate, and give moksha. And then another point of view is like Bhagwan saying it out of reassurance, which is what I have said previously, and you all have heard me, that it's like, I will give you moksha, don't worry. Not like you have to do this job. It's more like a reassurance of what it is we have to do. Now, which one is correct? Both are correct. Because that's the beautiful thing about Sanskrit. And actually every language, right? Because even in English poetry, you can say something and it can be so double meaning and both meanings apply. And so here too in Sanskrit, and Sanskrit is definitely an extremely sophisticated language. And so that way also both meanings apply. And so from the point of view of, remember, Krishna is being slightly cheeky in this verse, not overly cheeky, just slightly cheeky. He starts the Gita with Vashochan and Vashochastva. And so many people feel Gita starts chapter 2, verse 11. Before that, they don't consider Gita. They consider it Mahabharata. And the first thing Krishna says is, Vashochan, do not be sad. Do not grieve. Yeah? And what are you grieving for? Those who are going and those who are gone. And there's nobody else. So like there's wise men don't grieve for these people. Which people? The ones who are going and the ones who are gone. So they don't grieve. This is the first thing Krishna says. And then what does he end with? Because many people teaching the Gita stop teaching at this verse. This is chapter 18, verse 66. So it's quite far. Chapter 18 has 78 verses. So after this, there's only a few, like 20 more. And it's more conversational. Like Krishna saying, now I've told you everything, now you decide what you want to do. And then Arjuna saying, no, I'll do, I promise I'll do what you said. And then but in terms of the essence of the teaching, people will say the essence of the teaching ends here. And so the rest now again is tying back to Mahabharata story. But traditionally, all 700 verses of the Gita is seen as Gita because you need the bridge to understand context also. So usually people are not so cut here, cut here. And sometimes in Hong Kong, because we have such small houses, no packaging, no trimming, no decoration, just so those people who don't want any fluff whatsoever, they start chapter 2, verse 11, end here. Chapter 18, a little bit fluff is nice. You have to ease into the philosophy. You don't want it to finish so little bit. Ma Suchaha was the first message, and Ma Suchaha is the last. And so if you have any confusion about what Gita is saying, you have to be very dense. Because it is said the very first thing and the very last thing. What he said? Don't worry. Why is important? Yeah? Like this morning said, that don't worry, be happy. I can't sing so bad. You all know the song. I was listening to it after a very long time, and it was saying, you have nowhere to sleep? Don't worry. I was thinking, actually, that's a bit extreme. Like, you'd want to have somewhere to sleep. Then it says your rent is due and the landlord is going to take litigation. I thought, such big words for song lyric. Don't worry. But like if you're homeless, you'd really be worried. Mm-hmm. And if you intellectually listen to the song, it's like how not to be worried if you're in such an extreme situation. But here it's telling you why. Because Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. If you have surrendered, then now it is his job. So it's not that you're going to sleep on the road or you're not going to have a home to stay. It's going to be that when I have done my very best, that karmanyevadikaraste, then, which was the second verse, and also in the verse before this, the fourth verse given in the Gita Panchamrit, it said, Ananyas Chintayantu Mam. If I think of Bhagwan, if I surrender to Bhagwan, then he's already promised Yoga Shemam Mahamyaham. I will protect you and whatever you need to sustain yourself. And so if my surrender is complete, then I have done my bit. And I trust, Shraddha, faith, that now whoever else has to do their bit will do their bit. And here it's Bhagwan, so he will do his bit. So yoga and shema is whatever I have to acquire or whatever I have to sustain gets done. Yeah. There's been so many incidences where I've experienced this. And sometimes they're so small that they don't make like a full story. It'll be something like, we're having Balvihar camp and then we had to arrange for the bus permit because we have to go into Lantau. Otherwise, you don't need any bus permit. But Lantau has to be special and then you need one permit to get into it. And then our campsite is in Lantau. And so, okay. And then you can't apply too much in advance, only you have to apply this particular date. And now I'm very, very, very blessed. Sevikas do these kind of things for me. But when I first got to Hong Kong, it was me. And I didn't know anyone to make Sevikas do things for me. It was me doing all these things. So I'll make one note, apply for a permit on this day. Otherwise, the kids won't get to the campsite. Right? And so every other thing is planned. The games are planned, the menu is planned, Sevikas are planned, room allocation is done, because all these nitty-gritty things go into it. And then this permit thing got slipped in because forgetfulness, tamas, so something else was happening. And somebody will call that day when it's the deadline, and after that we won't be able to get it, and say, I'm sure you would have done it, but we got the permit, right? Or sometimes later on, when the team got a little bit bigger, it would be, I said I'll do it, or she said she'll do it, and then they forgot, but I forgot, and then she did it anyways. And she'll call to say, just letting you know I did it, so you can cross it off your list. It's such a small thing, it doesn't seem like a big thing. But like when you're planning an event and that key ingredient would have been missing, it would have caused the whole event might not happen, or it would have caused so much stress at the last minute. And then can you imagine all these kids coming to the bus stop crying because now we can't go, and the parents are like, you're not taking them? When we surrender through so many different instruments, whatever needs to happen for the greater good happens. And people look for these spectacular miracles, but more often than not, it's small things of being reassured or being looked after, or just making our lives just that much easier. Ensuring that we are able to keep doing seva, keep doing satsang. So that's the meaning of the verse as a capsule. So now we'll go a little bit more into detail of the different points. Sarva dharman parityajya. Renounce all dharma. Now, this might seem somewhat contradictory because in the beginning, chapter 2, Arjuna wants to run away, and Krishna said, no, no, no. You stand here and do your dharma. You're a warrior. Warriors are meant to fight. This is a war. Who else is going to fight? You are the warrior. Come stand here. Fight. So it was so clear. Do your duties. All of chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, do your duties. And here now he's saying, Sarva Dharma Parityajya. So you must remember what the word dharma means and how it's being used in this particular context. So now, quickly, first meaning of dharma. Duty. Second is duty, correct. First meaning of dharma. Righteousness, right, correct. Righteousness is the first meaning of dharma. Duty was the second meaning of dharma. Third, nature, fabulous, good. And then, any other thing? That which holds, okay? Now, if we come back to duty, then usually duty is all the different roles we play. And so one way to understand Sarva Dharman Parityajya is when we are acting in the world, we have to play certain roles. In fact, Gurudev gives this very nice story of, Gurudev would give very elaborate stories, isn't it? So he would say, Mr. Ram Ram. I don't know why he liked that name. Very often the story had a Ram Rao in it. Is sitting on his veranda in his lungi. And you know, when they really catch, that lungi is not even long, it's folded up. Like this is like, now really I am sitting in my lounge. as relaxed and as carefree as I possibly can be, like us sitting in pajamas. So Mr. Ram Rao is sitting on his veranda in his lungi folded up, swinging on the listening to the grandchild sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And somebody walks up the porch and says, I'm looking for Mr. Ram Rao. Yes. The person makes a face and gives this letter, and it's one, what do those police need? Like some warrant, something. So then which gets up from the swing, pats the grandchild, goes inside. And then 10 minutes later comes out in full uniform, standing straight with glasses on, looking at the permit. Let's go. Like the role of being grandfather has its own demeanor. The role of being police officer has its own demeanor. I think I've mentioned in one of the other classes how Australian customs are so strict about anything, right? And so recently when they went back, and like, why they have to be like looking at you like you're going to ruin the whole country? All I brought back was biscuits. I was like, they're just doing their job, right? When you wear that uniform, you have to have that persona. Yeah, they can't be chitty-chatting with you because they're doing their job. Dharma, while I'm doing that job, is to be that person. Whether it's grandfather on the sing, listening to Twinkle Twinkle, or the police officer, and then so many roles. Dharma is the duties that we undertake. We have these roles. And in the seat of meditation, so when I'm doing the role, I have to be it completely. When Ram Rao is sitting with grandson, he's totally, that time he's not, sitting upright and saluting. That time, no. That time he's like making baby noises and appreciative noises and totally relaxed and affectionate. And when he's police officer, then, back straight. And uniform crisp and neat. Then which one are we? And often we're not able to let it go. Like often when we play a role, very often we get stuck in that role. But also, doesn't matter how efficient we are in any role, that's not who we are in essence. That's just a vocation that we are, or a relationship that we are pursuing. And so in the seat of meditation, when I sit, or at the seat of puja, when I sit and I close my eyes and now it's time to pray, or it's now a time to focus my mind on Bhagwan, then who am I? None of these. At that moment, I'm not a parent, I'm not a spouse, I am not a friend, I am not whatever career I am. I'm only not even Jiva. And so the Sarva Dharman Parityajya goes so beautifully. When we understand it this way, it goes so beautifully with this Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. Sharanam is to surrender. What am I surrendering? all these different roles. So I have to give them up. And then what's left of me, even that, even after I've given up all the roles I play, and I'll say, no, this is me now. You know, cranky or kind or whichever, whatever I think, no, this is just me. This is, even that, surrender. Why? Because when I answer, who am I? It's not Bhagwan. And for Bhagwan to give me moksha, I can't be holding on to any identification. If I'm teacher, then I can't get moksha because teacher is small. Moksha is infinite. And so I have to give up this finite to be able to attain infinite. There's that in the beginning, Vedanta 101, when we're talking about how come we can't see divinity? How come we can't see our infinite nature? How come? Like, if it's infinite, shouldn't I be able to see it? And then that example is given of us putting our finger in front of our eye, and then you can't see the whole room. So the finger is so close to my eye that I can't see anything. Okay? And so every time we think we are something, I am teacher, that's blocking vision. I am a woman, blocking vision. I am kind, I am patient, I am courageous, I am disciplined, I am indisciplined, I am lazy, I am attention seeking, no, I am fiercely independent. Whatever description I give, it's blocking infinite. And so I have to surrender every last one. Then no blocks, and I see what I really am, which is infinite. And so Bhagwan is saying, surrender, and I will give you moksha, because that's the only way to get moksha. There's no other way to get moksha. If I'm holding on to limited, I can't get infinite. I can't be both. I can't be finite and infinite at the same time. I have to give up finite to be infinite. And right now, what have we done? We've given up infinite so that we can be finite. And Guruji usually uses this as his punchline of when people say sannyasis are greater, then he'll say, no, grahasthas are greater. And then grahasthas feel very great that, oh yes, grahasthas are greater than sannyasis. Then he'll say, why? Because sannyasis are giving up finite for infinite, but grahasthas are greater because they're giving up infinite to hold on to finite. Like they're getting a rarer deal. At least we're getting a good deal because we're getting infinite. And so this verse is, it sounds like Bhagwan is telling us to do something and then he'll give it to us. But actually, it's just, if you do this, you will be able to see. If you give up being limited, you can become infinite. But the idea here is moksha ishami asacha. I will give it to you because limited can't become infinite. But also, infinite cannot become limited. And so why is Bhagwan saying, I'll give it to you? Because already infinite. So you come to me, and then I'm giving it to you because you'll see you are only always infinite. And if the ego feels I get moksha, then that stress of getting it will be the biggest obstacle, and also the pride. I got moksha. Because if I'm saying I got moksha, means I don't have it. It's also rule 101. So, sarva dharma, renouncing all these identities or roles that then require us to perform a duty. But dharma also meant nature. Yeah? And so then we get attached to our nature of, I am extroverted, I am introverted, I am patient, I am fun-loving, I am relaxed. We renounce. Because we get so attached to that. But also our nature is determined by our body, because some bodies are just more energetic and lighter and bendy, and some are not. And then our dharma, also our mind and our intellect. So then our nature, here the nature of the body is to get old, disease, decay. That's nature of the body. Nature of the mind is to have emotions and to feel the emotions. Nature of the intellect is to be strong-willed about my belief system. But when it says to surrender all dharmas, I'm not the body, and so I'm surrendering thinking that the nature of the body is determining who I am. I'm surrendering thinking that the nature of the mind is determining who I am. I'm surrendering thinking the nature of the intellect is determining who I am. And so we have to understand the way the word dharma is being used. At no point in the Gita has Krishna said, don't act. In fact, in chapter 3, he very categorically said, you have to act. And continuously in the Gita, Krishna has said, do your duty. So sarva dharman is only that attachment that we have to our identities and our body, mind, and intellect. That we are giving up. And that is consistent with the message of the entire Gita. Every single chapter, Krishna has said, detached, detach, detach. So then it makes sense, because suddenly at the very last, he's not going to change his tune. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Surrender to me and me alone. So I've mentioned this before. Surrender is where we feel safe. Refuge, actually, more than surrender, refuge. Where is our refuge? Where we feel safe. It's where we go to as default. Okay? It's like on your phone when you're typing, then it changes the word to the default word. But that's not what I wanted. Change it back. And then sometimes you have to change it back 3 times because the phone is so stubborn with its default setting. Our minds are also very stubborn with default setting. So where's your default setting? Some people are gym buffs. Anything goes wrong, off to the gym they go. They get angry with wife, husband, go gym. Taxes have to be paid and it's very stressful, go gym. This is their refuge. Sometimes we have such vigorous schedules in our camps in India, where we're already waking up for meditation. Class is at 6:30 or 7 in the morning. We've become good. Gurudev used to have meditation at 5:30 a.m. Now the earliest, I think, in any camp is 6:30, or the more likely it's 7. So to be ready in the class at 7, usually in the camps, you're sharing a room, 3-4 people. So you have to be up by 6 to finish that whole bathroom routine, etc., etc. These people will wake up 4:35 and still go for a run, still do their gym routine, still do their. It's such beautiful commitment. Can also be attachment. Only you'll know. Why? Because it's their refuge. When I first came to Hong Kong, I didn't realize I missed nature so much. I'd lived in South Africa, right? And so much nature, just everywhere. And then I lived in Australia, so much nature. You're driving down the streets and there's trees everywhere and leaves are falling in autumn and everybody has a front yard with flowers. And of course, I looked, I enjoyed it, but I don't think I realized how much I enjoyed nature. Then, of course, India, Pavai Ashram, I'm not saying all of India is nature, but actually it's now developed so much. But when I did the course in 98 and 99, Pavai Ashram was a garden. It was like you were just surrounded by mango trees. Outside the window is just green, 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 green. Next to it was, my garden was an actual garden. And behind the ashram was all forest. And so much nature. Then I came to Hong Kong and I didn't realize that seeing so much concrete made me a little bit edgy. I didn't even realize it until that first time somebody took me on a hike and I was like, phew. And so where was my refuge? Hike. Before it became popular. I think 2000 till 2008, I did pretty much every hike available in Hong Kong. A lot of people's refuge. Nature. The ocean, the mountains, gardening. Lots of people, not in Hong Kong, but abroad. They get upset, they take out their gloves and they go into the garden. There's some unhealthy refuges. And maybe because we don't have gardens in Hong Kong, when I'm talking to people, then they'll say, I really need a drink. Why? That's their refuge. There's been so many times when there's been health issues, and I even tell a person, I'm not telling you this as a religious thing, it's for your own health. Stop drinking. Yeah, but Swamiji, you don't understand, and I really don't, right? Just takes the edge off. I'm like, what edge? What is Krishna saying? Don't turn to all these things. Turn to me. Definitely all these things like drinks. Now, many of them don't do drinks, they do drugs. And the reasoning they give also, very, very, it's called kumati. Kumati means when your thinking is twisted. They'll say there's many health problems that alcohol brings, so we're doing weed. It's healthy as one. Want to give them tupper. It's kumati, it's twisted thinking. But it's their refuge. What's your refuge? For some people, it's talking to friends. For some people, it's social media and Netflix, YouTube. For some people, it's music. Already now I gave you so many examples. What's yours? Some people sleep. Anything happens. Shower, change into pajamas, go to sleep. Why? I'll feel better when I wake up. I hope so. Mamekam Sharanam Raja. There's nice ones. I gave you my example only that my refuge was nature. And if we link it back to Bhagwan, so often in nature it's Mother Earth, and this life is nothing but Bhagwan. Like concrete is not alive, but the trees, even all the bugs, it's life. This is evidence of Bhagwan. And then so often on the hikes, there's this expanse. It's this, otherwise we bondage, we feel caught in, and then the vastness, it's like reminding us that Bhagwan's nature is this vastness, abundance. And so whenever we take whatever it is and turn our mind to Bhagwan, I'm not saying don't use music, just let it link you back to Bhagwan. I'm not saying don't do exercise, link it back to Bhagwan. The other things I am saying don't do. Because we're turning to that as our refuge, but it doesn't feed our soul. It might be a temporary break from the pain, but it doesn't feed our soul. It doesn't nurture us to be able to be strong enough to then deal with whatever it is we're able to deal with. Sure, we all need breaks. I'm not saying never watch TV or social media. Take a break, watch. But that's a break. That's not a surrendering. Like, where do we surrender to? Where do we go to feel recharged? Where do we go to feel safe? It should nurture us, nourish us. It should uplift us, empower us. And so, japa, chanting, make that your first refuge. And if the mind's very restless, walk and chant. But chant. Or even run and chant, but chant. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. And ekam is because this refuge, when it's only one, it really becomes our anchor. And we're not able to let go of everything else until we are so strongly anchored in this truth. And then he'll take care of the rest. Papa. So we'll just speak a little bit more about Papa as we conclude this verse. What is Pap? We already saw a little bit. It's the negative consequence of an action. Punya is the positive consequence of the action. Then Gurudev gives the definition. Sin is anything that we do that brings us pain. And so the example that I always use is when we overeat. We wouldn't think of overeating as sin. That's why we have to understand what sin means. Anything we do where we bring ourselves pain. With the kids, I'll also often give the example of we're not looking where we're going and then we stub our toe. And we only bring, and who did that to us? Yeah, we only bring the pain to ourselves by the actions we do. Sometimes we do it knowingly. Like we stay up all night. We know we're going to be miserable the next day. Sometimes we do it unknowingly. Yeah? Like we fall asleep on the flight in some weird position. We didn't mean to do it, but then, it takes 3 whole days to get rid of that ache in your neck. Both these examples are good examples because it shows you that we only doing it. Both knowingly and unknowingly. So sin are those things that we do that end us bringing pain to us. And we are creatures of habits. And these habits in Sanskrit we call vasanas. And so then today the most common well-known habit is this, it's called doom scrolling. What drastic words also used? Doom scrolling. What is doom scrolling? You know, when you just keep scrolling. Like you're not even seeing anything anymore. You just keep scrolling. That's what it means, right? So it becomes a habit. So why am I doing it? It just became a habit. Or sometimes with food also. Tea, coffee is classic example. Sometimes we don't even like the taste of it, huh? Just it became habit. Even sugar, because the body gets addicted to it, it became a habit. So this action that we do might be bringing some negative, not even drastic negative, slight negative consequence, but it's become a habit. And so very often Gurudev used to say that the scriptures aren't removing the sin, but the sinner. Means the tendency in me to do that. We don't want to remove the action. We do want to remove the action, but the action is the superficial bit. It's that tendency within me that makes me do the action. That's the root. So we want to remove that. Now, okay, doom scrolling, all of that. Angry. We can become so angry. You know, sometimes I'll hear like some maybe known people, maybe unknown people. The anger when it takes over the person, the eyes, the veins, the voice, it's such a, like literally the person is changed. Yeah. I remember when I was studying psychology, in one of the textbooks, it's called temporary insanity. I'm not exaggerating. This is in the textbooks, huh? In studying insight. And then what we do when we're angry, huh? So, of course, we're physically destructive. We throw things, we bang things, we slam things, and so harsh with the way we speak. And then it causes so much pain. There's this story I read where this person was ironing an old days type phones, not these mobile phones. You know, the old day phones? So while ironing, the phone rings. So he takes the iron and he says, hello. This is anger. What are you doing? Burning yourself. Because when you get angry, you're feeling the burn, right? And then, of course, he didn't answer the phone because now he's busy tending to the wound. So the person rang back. So he takes the iron. Hello. Why he took the iron again? Vasana. We repeat the things that bring us pain. And the first example of this is anger. When Krishna says, Aham tva sarva papebhya, like it's such a huge thing. It's removing that root cause of whatever causes the anger. If whatever the cause of anger is removed from me, wow, imagine my life. But he can only do this if we surrender. And so when he says surrender to me, it's for us so that we can get all that is beautiful that comes as a result of surrender. We think surrender is being weak, but actually, it's the hardest thing to do. And there's, I was much younger, and one of my aunts had a school where she was training people to do massage and beauty. And she had to test her students. So she asked all of us to come to be a. My sister and my other cousins were like, yay, free massage, free facial. The person doing me said, relax. 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 Like, why are you touching me? Stop. To surrender is not easy. Even something as physical as that. Or sometimes I know my yoga instructor will be in some weird pose and she'll say, relax and put all your weight on me. I'm like, I'll smash you, you'll become chutney. She's like, no, I know how to hold you. You can just relax. It's so hard. Yeah. Surrendering is letting go of the feeling of me. And so if we really want to challenge ourselves, surrender. Anyways, we're never going to be able to do it as beautifully as he can. So removing all the sin is that removing of tendencies within us for us to sin. And then this Masacha. When somebody says, don't worry to us, do we believe them? Unless we really trust them. Like a parent telling a child, I'm here. I did it already. Or like when family goes on holiday and then you have the responsible person in the family who's already done all the visas, who's already done all the immigration forms, who've already done the check-in, who's already done, and you're just like, yeah, they don't even have to say don't worry, right? Because you just know they've already done it all. You're not worried. And we have that faith in Bhagwan. Masacha. He's there. And so my favorite story of this is Draupadi. You all know the story already very well. When Dushashan was pulling at Draupadi's sari, the first thing Draupadi did was try to fight him with her own strength. And she succeeded for a little while, but she fatigued and he didn't. So the first thing we do is we try our own strength. But we are limited, so our strength is limited. She then tried to appeal to Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya, the Thrashers, the elders in the court, those who you think will have sympathy for you. That's what we do. We reach out to other people who we think will be maybe potentially able to help us. He didn't want. Then she looked at her husbands. She had 5. Even one of you do something? This scene is actually so upsetting because so many people could have done something and nobody did. But so often that's the world. We can do, but we don't do. Others can do, but they don't do. And then we all know. She closed her eyes and thought of Krishna. But he didn't come because she was still holding. It would be a natural instinct. Even every man will understand. I don't even have to say every woman will understand. Even every man will understand. It's a natural instinct. She's still holding. And that's why I said it's so hard to let go. Natural instinct is that she held on to protect herself. And then she's so tired. And she realizes how futile holding on is. And so she lets go. But she was thinking of Krishna. And the moment she let go, he was there. Mam ekam sharanam vrajam. The ekam is very important. Do we surrender to Krishna? I have no doubt all of us do. Is it ekam? Mam ekam sharanam vrajam. What's the one thing we should do? Surrender. And Krishna leaves us on that note. I pause here. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Asato Ma Sukhanaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityo Ma Amritangamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri